Hey guys, welcome back. Another Sunday chat. Hope everyone's doing great. Had on to starting a new week. Let me see what I have in here. Hey Joni, Saffron, Chicken Whisperer. Hey, good to see you. Katrinka, John. If I miss you, I'm sorry. I try to scan through. Did I say Saffron? If I not, welcome again. Hey Random, Adriana, good to see you guys. Jersey Girl, Montana Nana, how are you? Miss Sharon. I thank all of you for being. Hey, Dusty, Country Road, how are you? If I missed you, I'm so sorry. Make sure you are in live chat, please, so you don't miss all the good stuff. Hey, Tiger, KP, Ethan, I see you guys rolling in. Sandy, all of you. You know, this I always say about starting a new week. That's why I started doing this Sunday chat. Is what are we finishing up, wrapping up from the week before? Maybe things we have to kind of shed off, and moving forward into a new week. That's where things are. A couple things, there's been a couple things going on. I do want to bring attention again to, if you did not see it, it's in my community tab, is the LTF over on Liberty Tree Fellowship video I did. I think it's pretty important. And those are those foot in the door that are going to lead the way for them to kick the door open. And it was on C40, and which is like the 15-minute city type things, the land grabs about the rural areas and stuff like that, and a new bill Tennessee is doing. It's a red governor, it's a red state. Well, the rhinos, and I never put my faith in politicians, but please go check. It's a free video. The link is in my community tab. Go check it out. I see more of you sneaking in here. Michael G, Colleen, how are you guys? Yes, Miss Sharon, thank you. Please put things in all cap, because I may even still miss it. I apologize, but that's how it goes sometimes. But I encourage you to go check that out, just because and I have tons of links underneath that video for you to check it out, and also not just to check it out, but to keep an eye on those things, because they're continuously changing, and it goes way more in depth than what I would in a video. It would be a couple hours long. So go check that out. Highly suggest it. Hey, Papa's Farm, how are you? So there's that. We have been getting a ton of rain, thank goodness. We needed it. A lot of people know over here in North Carolina, there's been fires and stuff, and that's helped tremendously. But also, just this season, this is how it kind of goes, and it helps the gardening, season. Everything's doing great, and garden's just taking off. And yes, I promise, I know I keep saying it, and I have had a lot going on with putting up a new garden video, and as Huckleberry keeps filming more and more bee stuff, I have to edit and put out. He did a hive inspection yesterday, and they're doing great, and they have honey in there, and it's just getting bigger. And he's gonna have to tell you what it is. He should be in here. He put another kind of empty, deep box something on top? Ask him. He'll be in there. He can answer. But they're doing great. So we're really, really excited about that. No issues. And they're moving right along, which is just great to see. So we have all of that. I always ask what you guys have been up to. Some of you I see, and it's bizarre to me. I know it goes on, but I see so many of you like, oh, it's still snowing, it's still freezing. We can't. And I think until May, is it after Mother's Day or something, you put things in the ground. I just saw somebody said they predicted snow. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, that's crazy. We're already hot and muggy. And speaking of hot and muggy in this time of year and being in the South, I always have sunroofs. I'm sure Huckleberry would go on more and more about this. And yesterday I ran an errand before lunch, had my sunroof open because it's hot, and I get claustrophobic. I like, if I can have a window open, it's going to be open in the house, the car, anything else. And I left my sunroof open all night and all day till lunch when we decided to leave, and noticed it was still open, and it rained on and off all night and morning. So needless to say, my car was full of water. My truck was full of water. I felt awful. I felt awful about it. I just can't believe I did that, but here we are. June 1st, really. Yeah, we start hurricane season June 1st around here. I don't do the snow. I like snow. I want snow in the winter, then I want it to go away. Like, spring and fall type weather are ideal for me all year round. That's what I want. That's not going to happen anyway, I don't think. Oh, good about your potatoes. Yeah, mine are getting really big, but I've had mine in my potato tower for a while, and they're doing great. Again, that garden video I'm supposed to be getting to, right? Um, but oh, you got okay. Yeah, you can. That's your anything mullein. Drops, tinctures, teas. That's your respiratory tonic, whatever the situation. Great to have on hand. I recommend everyone having that. Hey, Dark Angel, how are you? Good to see you. It's like grandbaby. They better now. Hope so. So, also, did y'all see? There's a lot of quiet things going on in different states, of course, and the LTF. One of the videos about a bill they did for Tennessee. But did y'all see about? And I don't have it handy and ready about DeSantis is proposing a bill that would allow him to run for presidency and remain governor of Florida. Did y'all see that? Oh, hey, Katrina. Oh, it froze up. Well, sorry about that. That happens. Sometimes it's YouTube does that, so it may be that. Let's see. I'm trying not to miss anything. 60 in Southwest Georgia. Yeah, the weather. I mean, it's already getting humid, and it gets hot, and then it rains, and it gets more humid, and oh yeah, I do too. I love this time of year. And stuff. My stuff is just coming up. It's just coming up. I constantly pray over my garden, and I work in my every like 2-3 times a day. I'm out in my garden, even I'm just walking around. I love this time of year. Can you take too much? It really depends if you interact with anything. As far as now, if you have, what are you talking about? Too much? I mean, usually, it's one of the safest ones to use for different things. I mean, if you're on something like, say you have a blood disorder, like a bleeding disorder, or you're on blood thinners or anything like that, I would not take a recommended dose or a culinary amount. Because like I'm so sensitive to about anything. So it doesn't take a medicinal amount that I give myself, even if I've taken it for medicinal purposes. I put it in my teas and culinary and different things like that. Most everything. In that sense, no, you'll be fine, unless of course you have an issue with the pepper itself. I mean, that could be an issue. I hope that helps. If not, shoot me an email and we can get more into that. Hey, Snoopy. Good to see you. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes with him. Let's see. I went to Five Below. Oh, did you find those books or anyone that worked for you? They have neat things in there sometimes. Oh gosh. Yeah. I usually pray like that is that it goes quickly. But yeah, anything that's rotavirus, norovirus, it's so daggone contagious. You about can't protect yourself from it. If you're around it or it's in your home, it's just one of those things. Apple cider vinegar will neutralize things and help alkaline so it doesn't take cold as bad. Some people will say drink grape juice. I do apple cider vinegar, and it'll help pass or keep it from getting so bad. But I'm glad y'all are better. With Jersey Girl with iron, you're like taking iron or iron issues. There's the thing. It should not though. If you're taking medicinal doses and putting it in your tea, putting it in your food, if that's what you're talking about. If you're taking like you're taking it in capsule type form, which I don't, you should be fine. I see all you guys. Michigan Outpost. Hey, how are you? If I've missed you and you've snuck in here, I'm sorry, because sometimes I just look at the comments. Hey, yes, go ahead and do that. Fever rains. Yeah, I think was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I saw it, and yes, garlic fixes everything, doesn't it, Snoopy? It fixes everything. But yeah, it's going on. If Papas, if you can't, you should be able to find it. But if not, I'll send you some links. Oh yeah, they have good homeschooling stuff in there also. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I do. Anything I even think that is coming up or feel something, I'm like, and my kids do. I'm like, you here's extra apple cider vinegar. Of course, diluted. Always dilute it first. They're not hot toddies. We call them hot toddies in our house. I don't know why. It just kind of stuck, but it has no alcohol in it, and it's the apple cider vinegar. Doing a warm water, coffee cup. Do cinnamon, lemon juice. I usually do a lemon wedge so it's fresh and stuff like that. Honey, cayenne pepper. Sometimes I put turmeric in it. That'll about burn out anything. My kids drink them fine. Also, they'll even ask. Um, you should be fine with that because and I've said this on here before. I have pernicious anemia. It's a genetic type of anemia, so I have to take like a gentle iron certain times, but I have to do like a B12. So I do that, and I use cayenne pepper all the time in teas and food and different. I add it to everything, and I have never had any issues. Try it, and I always say when you start anything, go low and slow. Don't take if you're doing a prescription. Don't take what it says, even on a bottle, even if it's a supplement over the counter. Start lower and see how you feel. I have not heard of reactions to that. Gma Nana, how are you? Always with the mother. Always. There's the medicinal purposes are not in it without that. I'll say that. Now, some people use like just apple cider vinegar and they're not trying to use it for that, but I say, why bother? If you're going to use something culinary or anything else, why not, give yourself that extra, those extra benefits. Oh, you found that one? Okay. Oh, I only saw walnut. So yeah, you can just look in those places and see. But oh yeah, I believe honey. Yeah, yeah. I keep that going. Snoopy does too. He keeps it going. That's great stuff. And I'm behind. Cipher. Um, I see. I don't know. So, hey, Deb J, how are you? Sorry, I think I'm behind. I personally don't, but I mean, some people do. I just, I don't. I just take it like that. But I know some people who do. Um, but I mean, I think that's a personal preference. I just prefer to have it in water. I mean, but but you could always try it. I mean, sometimes people say for shelf life or storage. Um, yeah, I was born. It runs in my family. I've talked about genetic stuff before. I've done B12 injections, but I take sublingual every day. I have to take that. I have that intrinsic factor, which is a genetic pernicious anemia issue. Yeah, tell them Papa's Forum. Live chat, thumbs up, share it, do all the YouTube stuff for me that I don't ask for, but do it anyways. You should know. I don't ask. So okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up in stuff. So hopefully everybody else y'all are doing y'all's things also. I mean, I stay busy with a lot of, homesteading, different things, homeschooling, homesteading, life. That's how it is. And not to be, see, this is my take on that. But I always say with anything, do what's best for you. I do not go that route. And I know, I mean, if you had nothing, if you could not find, the jugs, we buy ours a gallon at a time because we use apple cider vinegar every single day in some form. And of course, it has to be diluted for some reason or another. we just go through it. And like, if you just could not find it, like there was some shortage or whatever, I mean, I guess it's better to have something on hand and put away. I've seen those things up there, but I've never used them. And if I ever like have someone I'm recommending a treatment or preventive type of stuff, I say, apple cider vinegar with the mother, raw organic apple cider vinegar with the mother and the jug. But yeah, I stay busy. And this time of year, this is a busy time of year. But I mean, I'd rather be busy than kind of that, what I call that stagnant feeling where you're just kind of waiting. That's just how I work. I'm better if there's a lot going on and I'm busy with things. Chicken Whisperer, we're growing ours now. The little box I showed, we started that, and you just miss that thing every day and make sure. But we nothing's coming through yet. But yeah, they're good. They taste good. I want to have them on hand for medicinal purposes as well. But thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, it's still hit and miss throughout all of it, where it's been these short, like you can just hit and miss. You go into the stores and there's no apple cider vinegar. There's no regular vinegar. It's just, and then it will be. I mean, of course, the price, like anything else, the price of, and like I say, we buy it by the gallon of apple cider vinegar has gone way up. But that's one of those things. If you see a sale, or sometimes you can do things in spurts, like, okay, this is my prep week or something like that of something. It's like, okay, well, this week I'm going to focus, or 2 weeks or however it runs for you. You're going to focus on, I'm gonna get a bunch of apple cider vinegar, or sometimes that's good for especially things like that, because I do that for things that are a staple in my house, and apple cider vinegar by far is one of the biggest staples in our house. Yeah, I have a video on that with apple cider vinegar. The biggest thing about making your own apple cider vinegar, and I did a video a while back on it, and I showed it when I strained it, is you really need to make sure you have organic apples, fully organic apples. And if we're not going over to the mountains and getting bushels of apples, it became more expensive for us because we use so much of it. It became way more expensive to buy the apples and make our own apple cider vinegar than it was for us to buy it. But we've done it both ways. Now, if you're doing a bunch of apples, you say you're making apple jelly or apple butter or apple sauce, the core and all those parts that usually may not, I mean, most of those you have to use some bit of the skin for your pectin, depends on your recipe and how you do things. All those scraps you have from that, you can use to make your apple cider vinegar. But it is easy. There's a video, and there's probably millions of them out there to show you how to do that. Let's see. Oh gosh. I mean, we do things natural. I do use Seresto collars on my dog because she goes in and out, obviously. My 2 cats, I think y'all have seen at least one of them in here. They're inside only, but diatomaceous earth is great for that. Again, you have to be careful with the pet and yourself that they don't inhale it. Some people put it in their beds. You can sprinkle it in some of those areas. Another, thing, again, you have to be careful where you're putting it. If it's near your garden, is you can either get those, Huckleberry, help me out. Those things that you attach to your water hose. It's like a container, and you can put something in it. People use different things. I have done that one. I think it was a year or 2 ago. There was just all around this area, there was a horrible thing of fleas in the yards. And also I think because we have a lot of wildlife around here, that can happen some years, is we took Dawn, just regular Dawn, and you attach that thing to your hose and you spray it, because Dawn will kill them instantly. There's things like that. Of course, there's certain plants that repel them, that can repel it. But as far as, killing them off, that's a different story. And I always hit things like hard when I have something like that because I can't deal. And if it's, yes, Dawn is a chemical, but I don't use like how, Orkin or something. I don't spray my yard or home. I don't do anything like that. Yes. Of course, if some of y'all have seen about that, the little stickers, I can't remember if it was and I was talking to Snoopy about this earlier. I don't remember if it was on Liberty Tree or a panel I was doing. I was talking about the new stickers that they're putting on things, that even the organics are having to be dipped in something. I don't remember. It was several weeks ago. I don't remember if somebody remembers. Look, I can't remember what I did myself. Put it up there. But yeah, you have to look out for that because they're trying to get it all angles. Yeah. Oh, that John Holt, that's for anything. Even people who are local farmers and garden, it'll take them 10 years to get certified nonstop, don't even have a hiccup. Like in my yard, I consider my stuff organic. But if somebody had to come in and checked it and they checked the rainwater, they've done that to the rainwater. Don't get me started. Everything they spray, no matter where it's at and evaporates, it will come back down. But we do the best we can. That's what I say is you do your part, do the best you can. And that's all we can. And that's pray and leave the rest to God. You have to, because it'll drive you crazy. Yeah, now he has to do that. I don't tolerate cedar at all, but he has done that in those little pump sprayers. You kind of carry around, you pump them, and it has a tube that comes out and you spray that. He's done that cedar oil, but you can't have cedar oil near poultry of any kind. Absolutely, you cannot have it near them. But like now, he's done that before to keep it like on, say, on your porch or your steps or anything like that, to keep anything from coming up. It's like kind of that barrier. And it does work. I can't be around it because I react awful to it. But you cannot have cedar, not cedar chips, not cedar spray, anything around your chickens, your turkeys. It will kill them. So please keep that in mind. Yeah. I don't know how far behind I am. Yeah, the diatomaceous earth. I use that. The Dawn didn't work. Oh, really? I use that. Hey, Black Cat. I think if I have missed you, I see all you. Hey, Anthony. Oh yeah, salt does help. Also, it dries them out, kind of like not the same as DE because that kind of will cut them up, but salt will help. It just depends on how big of an area and what the area is you're trying to treat. I will say that. My friend of mine was growing organic herbs for sale in local stores. Her son-in-law or sister-in-law, I don't know. I guess that could be both, right? We're out of business by. Oh my, see, I can't deal with that. Oh yeah, you'll never escape. We will never fully escape all of it. I mean, I've been saying that forever is between the stuff in the skies, and if they want to go, everything they're adding to waters, they will never completely escape it. But we try to lessen the load. Like so many times I talk about different things. And I'm like, well, we do our part to give our body, extra help or reduce the load that's on it. Sadly, this is part of the world we live in. And there's things that bother me and upset me. And it's just so evil. Why would they even do these things except for we know what their agenda is, but we just won't escape it completely. We just won't. So that's why I'm constantly about preventive care and supporting your immune system and doing regular detox. That doesn't mean it has to be a heavy, hardcore detox, but doing those things and the lymphatic massages and detoxing your liver and your kidneys and doing all those things. And if I talk about zeolite, which I may get a smack for that one because that's a big time no-no because of different things we're exposed to. And that is one that gets through and out of the brain barrier. So again, do your part to help your body. And we do, just like Tiger just said, yeah, oops, I clicked the wrong one. We do the best we can. We do our part and you have to pray about the rest. You just do because so much is out of control. I haven't used this, but thank you for sharing. And you can look into that, um, so, but there's all kinds of, different things. And, everyone's situation is going to be different as far as like, don't get certain things that would go into your garden because Dawn will, kill a lot of stuff in your garden or cause issues for it. Or about the cedar, you can't get that near your chickens and stuff. Assess your situation, and you'll be able to make the best decision for yourself on that. Yeah, the wheat fields. Oh, it's always if you are surrounded by a lot of places that are rural farming areas. Sometimes, a lot of times, when they have those bigger farms, they spray. I mean, we have crop dusters in certain areas, and those are all in Florida too. You'll see those crop dusters, and I'm sure it's everywhere. I'm just going on what I've seen personally, and they'll spray in the air and just keep on flying. Well, you're going to get that residue. It's in the air and the runoff, and the more you're surrounded by, and that's harsh because even though in those big rural areas, you're surrounded by that. Sometimes your exposure can be worse at times. It's just, again, you're not going to escape it. That's just what it is. But yeah, I mean, you got to try different things, especially where you're at. I've always heard things like that as well. Hey DCBs, how are you? So, I wanted to touch on some things, and I don't think Josh or anybody's in here. Papa's Farm is in here though. On Thursday nights, we do yeah, I always say hard copies, keep notes, notebooks. Absolutely. Is on Thursday. We've talked about it several times, a lot of things that we talked about on that show. And then Josh and I were doing those before, those spiritual type of lives and topics we were talking about is we talk about hard times and how, those of us most often usually, of faith, strong faith, we are not immune. Nobody is, but we're not immune to trials and tribulations of this world of different types. And that can come in many different forms. But we're going to face that. And then we talked about last Thursday, we talked about when these type of things, because things of this world, not just worldly things we hear, but, hard times, evil stuff, sickness, pain, all that type of stuff is of this world. We're not immune to any of that. And especially those who are of faith, we're going to be often, some people say you're tested more, but I have said many times before, Satan doesn't mess with those he's already got. Mess with them. That's why sometimes you see people like, oh, these people are awful. I'm doing all these things right. I have such strong faith. And it's just, one thing. No, that's usually when you're on the right path, and that's sad, but that is true. With that being said, I have, before I get too much into this, I am asking for, respect, people to be respectful, and a certain amount of, respectful privacy. I'm even saying that right. And I've been scattered. Let me just tell you, I've been scattered. And my close people, my tribe people, they know, because this is something I had been praying on for the situation, but also praying on sharing this information. And at this point, I am, and I don't mean this in a know-all or a disrespectful or an ungrateful manner at all. I don't mean that. It's just that where things are in this situation, and we're not new. This isn't a new to our family, I guess. I'm just not looking for a whole bunch of suggestions. And I don't mean that, I know that sounds ugly, and I don't mean it how it probably sounds, is, we have a lot of people in my family that are in the medical field, both naturopathic and allopathic medicine. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea that we have things covered at all fronts. So the reason I am bringing this up, because I believe in the power of prayer. Is there going to be evildoers that come around? Yes, but I'm going to let God take care of them if that so happens. And I'm asking for prayers. I'm asking for prayers, but also those who know me, they know when something is off with me sometimes. And I'm like that too. I'm very sensitive to everything. I pick things up. And so I was just on the fence to bring it up, but I've been praying about it. And I've been talking, like I said, I've been talking to my trusted tribe and said, I don't know what to do with this. And it was some information I got last Thursday, about 2 hours before our live started. And I've just not been sleeping, or you know how it goes when you get some heavy news. And so I've brought it before. My mother's Ashkenazi Jewish, and I've talked about I have genetic mutations, genetic thing. I was like, oh, this is genetic. It comes from that side. You know anything about Ashkenazi Jew or Jewish genes, that just happens sometimes. That's what it is. About 5.5 years ago, and I'm not going to get into, I'm going to give details, but then what's beyond these details, I understand someone may want to ask, but there's certain details I'm not going to get into. And that's just the part I'm asking people to respect. My mother had brain cancer that it runs in our family. There's been many on her side that have had it. And she came through that and did okay and been fine for 5.5 years. And then it's come back, and she had surgery in April and been doing well. And anybody that does anything with cancer, you know how that kind of road goes. That's why Thursday comes in, post-up, follow-up, and pathology. Of course, we knew it was going to be the same because that's a genetic type that runs, and that's something my sibling and stuff we have to get scanned for and watch for because it just runs in that family. Now that doesn't I don't live in fear over that because I just don't. So Thursday we got the news that that this time it was a grade 4 cancer. And doctors are not God, but I am asking prayers for that situation because doctors give numbers on things like that as far as, life expectancy and what they can do. And if you know what grade 4 cancer is, we were all shocked. We were just shocked. And so I've been up and down. I'm not going to lie. I've been up and down. And this is part of those in the valley moments and being trials and tribulations. And sometimes it's just a difficult situation. And I know myself and those who know me, I'm always pretty, I'm just, you see how I am about everything. People could, would tell. And so I wanted to give the basis of that and then ask for prayers, but ask for people to be respectful. And there's going to be times that things may come up that I'm just not going to be on here. And I don't want to come back because that happens. That happens to all of us. I do it too. So I was like, where you been? Because I'm used to somebody's schedule, another creative schedule. Where you been? And then we worry, especially in this world today. That is why. That may be why, I should say. And I thought I just didn't know to address it, except for where things are this time and with the information. We are on prayers where we're at with things. And I want to ask y'all to please pray for my mother and our family and this whole situation. She is surprisingly, she's at peace. She's just has a very, very strong faith. And she is peaceful. She's not like, oh, I'm giving up, but she's peaceful about it. And with things like that, if people of faith, they say in Christ there's no goodbyes, right? And people who leave from here, they're, no matter the situation of why that happened, could just be old age, it could be something like this, it could be a car accident, many different things, whatever it was, they're at complete peace and they're fine. They're not suffering, they're not sad, they're not sick, they're not anxious about anything. The suffering is always for us here because this is the world and it is full of those type of pains and trials and tribulations and times we're in the valley. And so that's just where we are. And she's not in any pain, and she's at peace about things. She doesn't feel scared. And, it comes in waves. That's Huckleberry. It comes in waves. One minute I'm fine, next minute I'm not fine. And, I think somebody asked me a question. It's up to you. I'm not saying I'm going to follow Michigan Outpost. You can email me. We're on both sides of it. And we've been the first time and this time, naturopathic, holistic, allopathic, covered all sides. We've been doing it. And, actually on the backstory history of a lot of this, there's been more than 2 handfuls of people on that side that have had this. She's actually lived the longest and the oldest out of anyone who has had this. But, you're welcome to email me. I lost my train. See, I went squirrel. But I was talking about, I'm fine and I'm not fine. I think that it comes in waves and it comes in times, cycles of how we process things. That's just how it goes. But I do appreciate all your prayers. Thank you. Thank you, Snoopy. And all of you for the prayers. I do. And I don't want this to be a downer thing, but I felt like I just came to things as well, going to the power of prayer, as if I didn't say something, there may very well be days that people were going to start realizing something's wrong, what's going on. And not that I owe anyone to tell anyone anything. Again, right out the gate, I said, be respectful about it. I just know. And I constantly, and I welcome, I tell people all the time, email me if you want, you want me to pray for you. If it's unspoken, I've always said that since the beginning of this channel. I've always said that. And I constantly, nonstop get people asking me for prayers. And I welcome that. I will always pray for people. I keep a prayer journal. I never say anything. Somebody asked me here in live chat, in open chat, hey, this is going on. We all pray for me. That's public, but other things I don't say, I never would do that. But there's power in that, and there's comfort in that. And so I wanted to share that because I think that that's just where we are with things. I'll say that. And there may be periods of time where I'm just not going to be on. I don't foresee or know like dates or reasons, but that's just life and when things are going on. And not to be like a downer, but I just felt like it was something I had to address is all. And I do appreciate all of you praying. And there's been a ton of people. I am going to say this. I'm going to say this for myself, and I'm going to say this for my family, because people are going to, there could be assumptions or concerns because the way we are in the world. Absolutely not. Nobody has had this. They don't do any of them either. We don't do those. It isn't from that, because I know there's a big increase in that from this of all sorts, all ages. I'm going to put that out there. That isn't from that. This is a genetic type. And, really, even the first time, it was 5.5 years apart, which a lot of times is unheard of with that type. But it's been fine. and it was found on a 6-month scan. She hasn't had any symptoms, and she's already had surgery and had that removed. And like I said, the follow up, it really just kind of, I just was not expecting it to be a grade 4. And if you know anything about, medical or that disease, that just wasn't the outcome we were hoping for. Yes, absolutely. Because we all have to lift each other up. And right now, I'm in one of those moments. And when we get in these moments, I always pray extra for that hedge of protection, which I pray for that anyways, because Satan likes to hit people, even mentally. We talk about preparing our minds and protecting our mind. We just talked about that Thursday on our live, Papa's Farm, and Just Josh. And I just got that news 2 hours before that live started, because Josh was like, do we need to cancel the show? Just tell me right now. And I said, no, because I need this. I need this right now. And Satan's not going to take that. The timing of those things, I believe, is meant to be. Yeah, there's a lot of different saffron ice. There's just a lot. Yep. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you, Miss Sharon. Truly. And I even got it, Miss Sharon. Y'all know Miss Sharon's my YouTube mama. And I'm like, what do I do about, but I mean, it's, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate all of you. I'm not trying to miss anyone. Yeah, I think, the big C's on the rise since all of these different things, whether it's food and exposures and different types of exposures, absolutely. And sadly, people in the family in the 1800s had this same one, and it is a genetic type. Again, if you know anything, if you yourself or know anything, if you are Jewish and gene mutations that are carried, I carried them. My siblings, it's just what it is, and of course there's certain things around it that can affect it and kind of set it off. I've talked about things being kind of activated or set off. Of course that can happen to make things worse, but that's why I was making sure I made it abundantly clear. Oh yeah. Yeah. I did a video on that. It was probably on Liberty Tree, because I couldn't talk about it over here. But and I talked about it on Rumple, about a self-spreading one, and that certain thing was created. It was kind of that mad scientist thing before they released that, made it very smart to do awful things in a very unnatural way. And yes, absolutely right. But hey, Warlord TV, how are you? Thank you for being here. Yeah, me too. This is the church, right? We're the church. Always. And our Thursday night things, which I get to where I'm like, I need that. I need that too. I do. That's why when it came about, I continued on, even though it was really fresh on me, but I knew that I needed that. I am sorry. I am very sorry. I will definitely be praying for her. Doc Bar. Oh, thank you. And welcome. I appreciate all of you. And I hate to bring that on a, Sunday chat. We're usually low key and do whatever. But this is life. And that's why most of my things I like to keep that it's getting really dark. It's getting really dark in here. It's about the storm. So that's why everything got really dark all of a sudden. Is I try to be transparent in the fact that this is real life. Even when my kiddos are running in and out of here and you hear all this noise or different things, or I have things going on, this is real life. And I am by far the only one. Okay. And so you're not alone. And I know that I'm not alone. And in these hard times. And I just like to keep things, like that. I think it helps, because there are things we can go through that sometimes we feel defeated. And, I appreciate you. And I will say this, and this is something I said to me, and I love me some Miss Sharon too. And I will run to her in a minute over something. Is I ever nonstop, I think week after week after week, we brag on my chat. I just have a great group of people. Every once in a while a troll will roll in here. But my tribe, my people on here, you guys are fantastic for each other, for me, everything. And I'm so appreciative. Maybe Huckleberry would turn my light on out here now that it's getting so dark. Maybe he'll pop that on for me. Oh, he says that there's a tornado watch here. That's this, tis the seasons. Yeah, I knew that if I didn't, people would be able to tell. There he goes. Look how he does that for me. Thank you. I knew people would be able to tell, and I didn't want, because then people wonder. Of course we wonder, what's going on? Are you okay? And it isn't me. I mean, I'm affected in a different way, an emotional way, in a worry way, and it comes in waves. I can be fine one minute and I fall apart the next, and that is normal. And if you go through that, you're going through anything like this yourself, that is normal. Give yourself grace. I always say that. Give yourself grace, and you got to stay in prayer, because these type of things at this, a lot of points they're out of our hands. Whether it's people say, oh, science or naturopathic medicine or allopathic medicine, it takes us so far. And, people sometimes point the fingers and say, oh, you should have done that. Because, I can say for her, she has never drank, never smoked, done any things that it's like, oh, your risk factors are up. That hasn't been. That hasn't happened. And sometimes we do our part and we do everything and these things happen. And that comes into point that, yes, it's genetic, but we were never promised to be free from trials and tribulations in this world. And there is a purpose for anything. That's not saying our purpose and reasons are easy or make it any easier, but it is. And, I've shared on here before, I've been through some mess, in my life. And I think there are still reasons. There's still reasons for that. Yeah, always. I have to, because nobody can make, prayer and having family stuff. Wait, here? I'm going to have to wrap it up. We have a tornado on the ground right down from our house. So let's pray about that. 2, I just see things going crazy in the back, and Huckleberry's out there saying there is a twister on the ground down the road. I'm going to have to wrap this up. I'm so sorry. Yes, Dusty Country. I have a lot, about 2 handfuls on that side of the family. My scanner's going off. There is a tornado over here, and that happens this time of year. Yes, my mother has lived the longest, and the oldest they were never children, but 30s, 40s, 50s, they all went. It's actually a genetic mutation we carry. But yes, random. I've talked about different things, hardships, heartbreak. That's awesome, McBean. Thank you. Chat again soon. I appreciate you guys. It's come on pretty quick. I hear my phone keeps lighting up over here, so I'm getting tornado warnings. But I'm sorry. This has been a weird Sunday live, hasn't it? I appreciate you guys. I'm buffering. The storm's right here. I appreciate you guys. Everyone stay well. And I will get back. I will get on my community tab and let y'all know that I'm good. But I see Huckleberry. He is trying to get things strapped down. And I probably my kids know where to go in the home. I gotta go. I can hear it. All right, guys. I am so sorry. I have to run. I have to go make sure I can go be with my kids and stuff like that. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for the prayers. I will get back on my community tab. I'm sorry I have to run off like this. And everyone stay safe yourself. And I see you guys next time.